Maybe you've heard about this. I'm not trying to pile on if you have, but every YouTube channel out there ought to be talking about this all day long until it stops. In the 4 minutes it takes you to watch half this video, at least 33 Christians will be murdered for their faith in Nigeria alone. That's not in some ancient medieval history book. That is today in October 2025. And here's what should terrify you. If you were watching this from somewhere in the West, in the comfortable West, you probably think you're safe, but you're not. Let's start with the horrific truth about the global situation right now. 380 million Christians, that's 1 in 7 believers worldwide, face high levels of persecution. Just in Nigeria, almost 8,000 Christians have been murdered so far this year. That's 33 believers killed every single day. Another 8,000 have been kidnapped, almost 20,000 churches destroyed since 2009. 1,100 Christian communities completely displaced. That's just a bunch of numbers, isn't it? But it's real people. The corrupt government and the mainstream media dismiss it as disputes over land. Nothing to see here, move along, move along. They're lying. This is genocide. Over the last 15 years, 125,000 Christians have been slaughtered by more than 20 different jihadist groups, terrorist groups that have made Nigeria their home. Groups like Boko Haram, Islamic State, West Africa Province, and others. They aren't fighting over cattle grazing rights. They are systematically erasing Christianity from an entire region of the world. Father Matthew Aya is just one example, intercepted by attackers on motorcycles this September. They shot out his tires. Then they executed him at close range. He's one of over 600 clergy who've been kidnapped over the last few years. Dozens of them have been killed. Most are still missing while they're being held for ransom. But Nigeria is just the epicenter. North Korea keeps up to 70,000 Christians in labor camps where they rot until they die. China has demolished 31,000 churches since 2016. India saw at least 250 churches burned in Manipur alone between 2023 and 2025. Burkina Faso, Syria, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, 70 Christians were beheaded inside their church in February. That's men, women, and even children. Islamic State claimed responsibility. This isn't just persecution. When you systematically target one group for elimination, when you burn their houses of worship, when you displace entire communities, when you execute their spiritual leaders, that is genocide, and it's accelerating. So who's responsible? I don't just mean the men with machetes and assault rifles who show up, the jihadists. Obviously, the jihadist terror groups are doing the killing, the actual killing, but Boko Haram, Islamic State, Al-Shabaab, groups that openly declare their mission is to establish Islamic caliphates and eliminate Christianity from their territories. But they're just the visible edge of a much larger problem. First, the governments. They are complicit. Nigeria's authorities routinely fail to protect Christians or prosecute attackers. China, the government runs the demolition crews knocking down those churches. North Korea, government runs the camps. These aren't rogue actors. These are state policies of countries that sit in the UN and in many cases sit on the United Nations Human Rights Committees. Number two is the Western media. Almost complete silence. When was the last time you saw CNN run a special on the Nigerian genocide? When did New York Times run a front page story about the 33 Christians being murdered every day? They don't, because it doesn't fit their narrative. They'd rather run another story about Islamophobia in the West while ignoring industrial scale slaughter of Christians everywhere else in the world. Third, the politicians. They're no better. The European Union has coordinators to fight anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. Rightly so. But where's the coordinator for anti-Christian hatred? Nowhere, because they won't even acknowledge that it exists. Meanwhile, in Spain, Father Angel David Ballester was convicted for writing an essay arguing Islam's incompatibility with Christianity. Isn't it obvious? But that's what they prosecute, not the killers, the people who name the problem. Fourthly, far-left extremists. According to the Observatory on Intolerance and Discrimination Against Christians in Europe, OIDAC, when perpetrators of anti-Christian attacks can be identified, a significant number come from far-left political groups. Antifa, radical feminists, pro-abortion activists. They vandalize churches, they torch buildings, they assault believers. In France, police arrested one arsonist described as ultra-left, Antifa, anti-Christian, pro-Islamic State, who tried to burn 15 different churches. And honestly, the last group, most Christians in the West. We are asleep. While we fight about minor differences in doctrine, while we waver on the smallest moral questions, our brothers and sisters are dying for proclaiming the faith. When's the last time you risked anything for your faith? So we tend to think this is all happening somewhere else. It's in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, far away places where bad things happen to other people. But we need to wake up. It's already on our doorstep. In Europe, the OIDAC documented at least 2,500 anti-Christian hate crimes in 2023 alone. France had almost 1,000 incidents. We're not talking about minor insults. We're talking about churches torched, gravestones defaced with "Submit to Allah." Germany documented almost 300 attacks. This isn't graffiti. These are Molotov cocktails. These are stabbings. The UK recorded over 700 anti-Christian hate crimes in 2023, and the governments do nothing. In the United States, the Family Research Council documented 415 attacks on churches in 2024. Vandalism, arson, shootings, bomb threats. Since 2018, there have been over 1,300 documented attacks, and Catholic Vote tracked 537 attacks on Catholic churches alone since May 2020. And those attacks spiked after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. No surprise. So in August, one person identifying as transgender committed a mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis, killing 2 children during a school mass. And then, in September, Charlie Kirk, assassinated by a sniper while speaking at Utah Valley University, murdered for speaking about his Christian faith and conservative values. Charlie Kirk's killing came less than a month after that Minneapolis church shooting. This is the climate that we are now living in. But it gets worse. Enter the thought police. In Finland, Member of Parliament Päivi Räsänen has been prosecuted for 6 years straight for quoting the Bible. She posted a tweet back in 2019 with a photo of Romans 1, verses 24 through 27, asking her Lutheran church leadership how they could support gay pride events in light of those verses. And that started it. Then they went after another pamphlet she wrote about biblical marriage. Tomorrow, October 30th, her case goes before Finland's Supreme Court. If convicted, she faces fines and censorship for expressing traditional Christian teaching. The charge? Agitation against a minority group under the section of Finland's criminal code dealing with war crimes and crimes against humanity. Let that sink in. Quoting the Bible is being prosecuted as a crime against humanity. In the UK, Isabella von Spruce has been arrested 3 times for praying silently, not protesting, not holding signs, praying in her own mind. Police officers literally told her prayer is the offense. Adam Smith Connor, a military veteran, fined for silently praying for his aborted son. Hands clasped, head bowed, that was his crime. Not for words, but for thought. In April, Livia Tosici Bolt was convicted for holding a sign that said, "Here to talk if you want." Convicted for offering to talk. In context, the UK rolled out a nationwide buffer zone law that makes it illegal to influence anyone within 150 meters of an abortion clinic. That's 1.5 times the size of a football field. Silent prayer within that area is now a crime. Your thoughts can get you arrested. George Orwell wrote 1984 as a warning, but the UK decided to read it as an instruction manual. This is where silence leads. To paraphrase Martin Niemöller, the German pastor, first they kill the Christians in Nigeria, and you say nothing because you've never been to Nigeria. Then they arrest Christians in Birmingham and Helsinki, and you say nothing because you don't live there. Then they come for your church. Then they come for you. This is how it works every single time. No more excuses, folks. Here's what we need to do, starting today. First, we need to face reality. Go to opendoors.org and download their 2025 World Watch list. Read the names, read the numbers, let it sink in that while you're watching this video, people are dying for the faith that you take for granted. Second, pray. And I mean actually pray. Set a timer on your phone. 5 minutes every single day. Start with Nigeria. 33 dead today, 33 dead tomorrow. Pray for their families. Pray for their persecutors. And do it every day for the next 30 days and see if it changes you. Thirdly, break the silence. Share this video. I know it's a new channel. I don't have a lot of subscribers or whatever, but just tag 3 people, talk about it, post about it, make it awkward at the dinner table. The media has a blackout on these stories. Bury them with it. Make so much noise they can't ignore it anymore. Fourth, demand action from your leaders. Email your representatives, write letters, make phone calls. If you're an American, thank President Trump for designating Nigeria finally as a country of particular concern for religious freedom violations. And if you're European, demand the EU create a coordinator to combat anti-Christian hatred, just like they have for other groups. If you're British, demand your parliament protect the right to silent prayer. Fifth, fund the work. $50 to Open Doors or Voice of the Martyrs provides Bibles, shelter, trauma care, support for a displaced family. If you have it, give it. These organizations are doing the actual work of keeping persecuted Christians alive. So here's your challenge. 30 days of daily prayer for the persecuted church. If you're in, comment, I'm in. Right now, down below in the comments, I want to see hundreds of comments, thousands. Flood the comment section. They're not asking you to die. They're asking you to speak. Their fight is your fight. It's our fight, because persecution doesn't stop at borders. It spreads like a cancer. And if you think it can't happen here, you're not paying attention. Remember those in prison as if you were together with them in prison, and those who are mistreated as if you yourselves were suffering. That's Hebrews chapter 13, verse 3. That is not a suggestion. That's a command. Your brothers and sisters are being slaughtered for their faith. What are you going to do about it?